YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. I'm excited. I got an updated mock draft that I'm very excited about. Couple trades, very realistic. Two teams involved in one in each of these trades that I think are very likely to trade back, or I'd say likely. Feeling really good about these fits. Felt just really good in general about this mock draft. All made sense to me. And it does start with an interesting debate at the top between Aidan, Hutchison, Travon, Walker. Could throw Evan Neal in there as well, but the Walker talk starting to heat up. I'm just getting excited about all these different scenarios here, but feeling good about this mock. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Definitely more to come. We got a lot going on. A lot of position rankings coming out. More to come out before the draft and after, during and after the draft, of course. So like, subscribe to notifications on. Follow our Twitter, fan voted mock going on there. We're doing member mock drafts as well. You join through our Twitter. Links you're looking for. Pinned in the comments section. We'll be live during day 1 of the NFL draft right here on YouTube, day 2 and 3 on Twitter. So join us. Much appreciated. Here's our Twitter. A lot of news coming out. Geno Smith numbers. Sammy Watkins went to the Packers. I would still like for them to get more receivers in the draft. Fan voted mock drafts on here. We are on to the Patriots. But let's go on to the mock. First 8 picks. Yeah, Travon Walker, hype to the Jaguars is heating up. I almost did it, but I'm going to go Hutchinson. There is some talk, could they be trying to fool teams to try to – doesn't make a lot of sense, though, to come up and get one, trade for it because they're not getting any calls. I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense. But all that really came out was that Bulky, the GM of the Jags, likes Walker and compares him to Aldon Smith. So, does that – say they're taking him first overall? No, it doesn't really. So I'm still thinking, and there's still people within the league that believe Hutchison, so I'm still leaning that route. Good pairing with Josh Allen, their pass rusher. And they have a pretty deep pass rush group then, adding Hutchinson, because they got some good rotation players, so they get creative. But, yeah, they're going to try to run that Tampa-style defense, and they use 3 pass rushers at once on the field. So it makes sense to create a good, talented, deep group. So Lions, I go Travon Walker. Really thought about Kayvon Thibodeaux. What I find interesting is, they kind of geared more towards a 3-4 last year, kind of a multiple defense, but more of a 3-4 base. But at the Combine, Dan Campbell says he wants to run a 4-man front, which I'm starting to think, could that be smoke? Because why would they change things? They had some guys like Charles Harris, who surprisingly had some success in that defense last year. Could that be smoke to kind of make teams think they're taking this specific guy or that specific guy? Overall, I think they'll like Walker. I like his versatility in a 4-man front playing multiple positions, a 3-man front playing multiple different positions. They're still kind of in that rebuild process, but they're further along than I think we would expect them by this point, the Lions. I think they're really coming along here pretty good. So Walker could be a part of that. I think he makes a day 1 impact in many different spots. He does need to develop some pass rush moves, though. But he's pretty damn nasty on the interior right now as well. Just love the versatility and the impact he makes. Texans, I think they would really like Travon Walker. A lot of people mocking offensive linemen to them. I think that's possible as well. It's just, do they plan on having Tunsil long term? Do they like Titus Howard at tackle or guard? He started to play well when they moved him to tackle, which I graded him as a tackle. And I'm not hesitant to move tackles to guard with my pre-draft rankings, but I liked him at tackle when he was coming out. So it's just really only the Texans know, on what their thoughts are with those types of players. They could go at Kemekwane, who I think could be an elite guard. I like him actually better at guard than tackle, but he's also the second best tackle in this class. So if you were to rank him at tackle, but do you take a guard 3rd overall? I don't know if they do that. And they'll like AHMAD Gardner. I think he fits Lovie Smith's coverage concepts there. They'll mix it up between cover 2 and man coverage, try to fool offenses and which one are they in. With the pressability of AHMAD Gardner. They had Steven Nelson. That was yesterday. That may tell people they added a pretty good corner, 2-year deal. Do they take a corner this early? That may tell people that, question that. I think it makes more sense. You sign Steven Nelson to not one of their typical 1-year deals. Hey, we're still tanking. We're going to sign him to a 1-year deal, flip him for a compensatory pick. No, they want him 2 years. They like him at corner. I think the only reason to do that is to build a damn good cornerback duo and have it there for more than a year. That makes more sense to me. So Gardner, Nelson, looking pretty good there. So, again, I think the Texans will really like Travon Walker. Jets go Evan Neal, and you see we got the Jets making some noise here in this mock draft. But They're said to be in on a tackle early. Now, they have a lot of early picks, but if they're going to, I said it before, it's kind of go big or go home. You got Fant, you got Becton. Still some questions on if Fant's a long-term left tackle. Is Becton going to fit at right, or you want to put him back at left? They want to protect kind of their prized possession and Zach Wilson. You get the best pass protector in the class here. Makes a lot of sense. Who can play left or right, played both at a high level. So this just makes sense. Go big or go home if you're actually going to take a tackle early. That's my thoughts. So they go Evan Neal, possibly the best player on the board at this point too. I'm a big Kayvon Thibodeaux guy, so really I had the Jets hitting a home run here, which I think is very realistic. But the Giants would like Evan Neal. They go with Ken McWanu. Another question, do they play him at tackle or guard? I think he has better upside at guard, but I think he's a very good tackle at the same time. So hard to miss there. With Iguana to the Giants, I should say. And then the Jets so there's a lot of reports the Panthers could trade back. We hear they could take a quarterback at 6. Is it worth it in this class? They are very, very limited on draft picks. If you look at the draft picks they have, extremely limited. And as it is, they're a team recently that likes to trade back. They take calls, during the draft. So it just all makes sense. You put it together. We are hearing that they talked to multiple teams about trading back already, kind of getting scenarios. All right, if this guy's on the board, we're going to trade up with you when you're on the clock. That happens all the time. It just makes so much sense. And the Jets, I love Thibodeaux as a fit. They're actually bringing him in for a visit today. I was kind of waiting on that. It's just like, Evan Neal, Kayvon Thibodeaux. It's just such good fits and makes us so much better. Makes other players better. It's possible they can get both of them. Now, it's possible Thibodeaux can go 2 overall. Very possible. I don't think he goes to the Texans. I really don't think the Texans take him. I'm not going to say guaranteed they don't take him. But this was interesting to me. And I'm not really a huge fan of trading up. Giving away picks, giving away value with the Jets, the picks they have, and to be able to get Neal and Thibodeaux, I'll tell you right now, 2 guys that'll be in the top 3 on my big board. It'll be pretty ridiculous. So the trade details I came up with, this would be huge for the Panthers as well. Well, they're huge for the Jets because they hang on to both their second-round picks. Could the Panthers pull a second-round pick for this? I think it's possible. I'm not counting on it. But the Panthers want more picks. You get a 3rd and a 4th-round pick. The Jets keep their 2 2s. They still have 2 firsts. They make 2 first selections, right? And they still have a 4th even with giving up a 4th. It just makes so much sense all the way around for both parties here. So I really felt good about this trade. Several teams would be interested in trading up for that Panther spot, depending on who's on the board there. I love that. I love the idea of that trade for both teams. So the Jets take Kayvon Thibodeaux, and that is I was talking about this scenario on Twitter yesterday. The draft of the Lords is what I said. Even with trading up, giving away value, I usually don't grade teams insanely high. But if the Jets come away with Neal and Thibodeaux, 2 guys that'll be in the top 3 of my big board when it's all said and done, ridiculous. The Giants, I really think they're looking for corners. I think they would like AHMAD Gardner, but Derek Stingley back on the rise after a very good workout from him, his pro day, and just remembering that talent that he had, and talent doesn't disappear. They're looking for man coverage corners there for Don Martindale's scheme in New York, and they get that with Stingley Jr., so they get the offensive lineman in the corner. Falcons, I have going quarterback. So a little bit of a change. It's gotten really quiet with the Falcons with the quarterbacks, but if you look at who they've done the homework on the most, it's weird. It's like pretty much just quarterbacks and some of these top-tier pass rushers that are already off the board. They haven't really done any homework on receivers, which I find is weird, but we still have 2 weeks to the NFL draft, so about a week and a half to bring in the top 30 visits, obviously. So they get the first crack at the quarterback. They're a rebuild team. They bring in Malik Willis for Arthur Smith's scheme. Makes sense. Learn behind Mariota also makes sense. And start to piece this thing together while he's learning. Start to piece it around him so he comes into a pretty good situation in another year or 2, which makes sense for a situation like Malik Willis. It just wouldn't make sense for the Falcons to take a guy like Kenny Pickett or anything like that at this range. So I would think about receiver if I like the Wilson fit, but if they did more homework on these guys, So I won't Malik Willis there over somebody that I've had to them, Garrett Wilson. So the next group of picks here, Seahawks is tough. Seahawks are tough. It's kind of odd on who they've done their homework on. It could be a trade back team. I didn't really find something that made a whole lot of sense to me. I think where Jermaine Johnson's still sitting here, I think I think it's possible they go him. You look at their pass rushers. I like the upside of Darrell Taylor. I was high on him out of Tennessee. He had a pretty good year last year. And I like Uchenna Nwosu, but he's kind of your Swiss Army knife type pass rusher. He's on a 2-year deal. Seahawks they haven't had the strongest pass rushers over the recent years, but they've always had a number of guys, right, to rotate in. They've always had that. They don't have that right now. They got some more promise with Taylor and Nwosu, again, a Swiss Army knife type pass rusher. So get another one in there. It makes a lot of sense, a promising one here in Jermaine Johnson. So that made sense to me, even though it's not an obvious pick with this prediction pick with the Seahawks because, who they've done their homework on. Only one quarterback, Desmond Ridder, so they could take Ridder. They just signed Geno Smith to a $7 million 1-year deal. I'm starting to think maybe that could be throwing teams off. That's our smoke. Hey, we got some money to use. We'll use it here. I don't know. I'm starting to think that they kind of go best player available or trade back. So the Panthers, we went over the trade details when we talked about the Jets. We talked about how the Panthers are actually making fielding calls with several teams about trading back. It makes sense because they need more picks. In the trade scenario I have, they gained 2 extra picks and only moved back to 10. And they still get that offensive lineman that apparently they're in Charles Cross. I do think Ekwonu would be a better fit, in my opinion. I think NEAL would fit everyone at the top of their board for the tackle position. But, it would be pretty damn good to trade back, get Cross still, gain 2 picks. So that trade and what these teams ended up with, it made almost too much sense. Commanders, Drake London. I'm starting to feel this one. People had Drake London up in this area, and I kind of been saying I don't really believe he'll go up in that area. And the more I think about it, the more I watch, I think it's very possible, actually. I think Drake London's that type of guy that's very easy to fall in love with. He's not my top receiver. It's kind of a boom or bust type guy. He probably has the most upside out of any receiver here. But the Commanders need a big body contested catch receiver. They definitely need that type of receiver for Carson Wentz, which sometimes he'll kind of play hero ball a little bit. It just makes too much sense to pair London with McLaurin here, and I think they'll be interested in that. Still waiting for them to bring him in for a top 30 visit. We got a week and a half. So I was feeling London and the Commanders there. So Kyle Hamilton slips through, which seems to be very realistic at this point. And it's just maybe too good to pass for the Vikings to pair him with Harrison Smith. So that would make sense. They're probably looking for corners as well. But the 2 top ones off the board could go McDuffie. Hamilton made a little more sense with the value there. Texans go Garrett Wilson, a guy that can play outside in the slot to pair with Brandon Cooks. Seems like Davis Mills is their guy, right? And we kind of figured that. He looked pretty damn good last year. Continue to roll with him, but for that to work, and they want it to work, got to give him some help. You got to give him all the help you can get and to be able to progress. So you have Brandon Cooks, you had Garrett Wilson in there because you use defense with your first pick. They're going to need some interior blockers, though. That's the issue. But Ed Wilson made sense there. Ravens, Trevor Penning. I don't love mocking Penning to the Ravens. I think it's a fit. I think they can go other spots would be a better pick, in my opinion. This is more of a predict-the-pick mock, and I just keep hearing latest he goes. The Ravens are in on Penning. They haven't shown extreme interest in everyone else. So for now, we're going Penning to the Ravens, which they have a number of guys that compete for that right tackle spot, but Penning could beat them out. He also can play left if Stanley does go down, which you don't want to hear or see, obviously, because he can be the best left tackle in football if he's healthy. So hoping that, in general, the Ravens are healthy this year because they're too good of a football team. Eagles go Jordan Davis, defensive tackle from Georgia, probably the toughest guy to mock because you just think about Jordan Davis, what he is, what he can become, too. I mean, these guys do not exist. They don't exist. Usually those guys go easily within the top 10. So it wouldn't shock me if he went top 10. Eagles have done their homework on him. Fletcher Cox, 1 more year. Javon Hargrave, 1 more year. The Eagles are a team that we can never have enough talented defensive linemen, so they can pull the trigger on Davis here. And the Saints go Jameson Williams, that speedster, deep threat type of receiver they're looking for. That they're always looking for, but to fit Jameis Winston type ball at the same time. And I think it's a big reason why they wanted 2 picks in this draft to be able to get a big-time playmaker like this and something else, not just choose one or the other, right? So helping them compete right now. So that's Williams of the Saints at 16. Move on to the next picks. The Chargers go Chris Olave, who I think meshes in well with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. That deep threat to fit Herbert ball. I would love it, actually. Olave, a very crisp route runner. That would make some sense. They are in the market for a right tackle. Heard they could trade up. Nothing worth it. Got to go too far up. Some link them to Penning. I don't love the fit with Penning with the Chargers. Don't love it, So go Olave here. Makes sense. Eagles go Devin Lloyd, though, so no receiver for the Eagles, which I think some fans would probably be a little disappointed with. But if they don't go a receiver at that first pick, I don't think they're going to take it with the second pick because you got the Saints and the Chargers. You're risking them taking your guy, right? So Devin Lloyd, seeing him down here at 18 doesn't really feel right. I really like the other scenarios I have, though, and how this draft came about. To me, Devin Lloyd's a top 10 player, but kind of slips through, and the Eagles grab him. Too good to pass on. Could go receiver. Some of them off the board here. Saints go Trent McDuffie, the cornerback from Washington. The Saints are a team that values cornerbacks very high. Roby on just a one-year deal. They like Adebo, but do they feel because they want to have an elite cornerback duo here, and they want a rotation as well. So add McDuffie with Lattimore. Could go quarterback. Went a different route this one. We'll see what my final prediction with them, but they could go quarterback. Steelers go Desmond Ridder. Could be Pickett. Could be Ridder. Quarterback kind of falling down the board in this scenario, this mock draft. Ridder's getting some buzz. I think the Steelers will like him. I think he'd be a good fit, so they take him at 20. Patriots go Zion Johnson. Really good fit at guard. That one makes a lot of sense to me. Treylon Burks from Arkansas to the Packers, kind of that big body slot that you can also work with on the outside. For the Packers, they're gonna, they added Sammy Watkins. I still would like for them to add multiple receivers. So they add Burks, and they can add another one here with maybe one of their second-round picks, which we'll get to. Other trades. So I had 2 trades in this draft. I really wanted to focus on 2 teams that I think will trade back. Well, I'm not guaranteeing it, but very well could trade back, and that was the Panthers we discussed, and the Cardinals. The Cardinals because it feels like they have more needs at this time this year than last year, and they're trying to compete right now. They didn't make much noise at all in free agency, and they are limited on draft picks as well, very limited. So they trade back and get another pick here, and we can show that trade details. And that we have the Chiefs taking George Karlaftis, but the Chiefs get 23, the Cardinals get 29, so moving back 6 spots, and the Cardinals add the 94th overall. It's a 3rd-round pick, so add that pick that you need there. Could look to continue to trade back to add more picks, very possible. So that made sense for both sides. The Chiefs desperately need another pass rusher. Karlaftis is somebody with his physicality and fit as a 4-3 end that they will like. And then he's kind of on the rise a little bit because he had a pretty good pro day there, a little more athletic than I think everyone gave him credit for. So Karlaftis to the Chiefs at 23. They're going to have to hop the Cowboys to possibly get him there. Cowboys doing their homework on guys like that, interior offensive linemen, receivers. I mean, if there's a receiver, I know they really like Olave, it sounds like. So it's very tough to pass on Olave if he's there. I don't think he'll be there. At the same time, you move down from Cooper to next to nothing to just draft another receiver, in the first round. You devalued it to value it again. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but again, you make an exception to a guy like Olave's there. I don't think he'll be there. Kenyon Green, they need offensive linemen. I like that Green fits very well from that guard. I like that he also can play tackle if somebody goes down and you need to. Ideal starting at guard long term for the Cowboys. Before the second round, we got their last 8 picks of the first round. Andrew Booth Jr., Clemson corner to the Bills. Very good tape. Just haven't seen him work out much during the pre-draft process, but that kind of slipped him back, pushed him back a little bit. I think he's tapes is so fun to watch. I think he's kind of getting back up here. The Bills kind of needed another corner last year at the same time and lost Levi Wallace. And, basically they needed one because Tre'Davious White was hurt, but they need one, so I go that route. Titans, I had Kenny Pickett falling a bit, and I keep hearing that he's the most pro-ready, so he's going to go earlier. And I kind of wonder, is he the most pro-ready? More like Ridder might be. He's getting buzz. Pickett, it could slide back a little bit. The Titans have done their homework on quarterbacks. I think ideal they would like Ridder. But Pickett's sitting here in this scenario, and they grab him. Pickett was a tricky one to mock in this scenario here. Bucks go Devontae Wyatt. I think a good fit, replacing Dominican Sue. The D-tackle from Georgia. Packers get their potential right tackle, some upside for Smith if he can play guard. Some think that. I think the Packers try to play him at right tackle. He's been getting some first-round buzz. So Tyler Smith to the Packers. They had that receiver and that tackle. Arnold Ebukete, the edge rusher from Penn State. Like his tape, he's getting some buzz as well. Yeah, I think he fits the Cardinals. I think it's like kind of a Chandler Jones type replacement. He's not going to be as good right away, but very good athletically and with his hands getting after the quarterback while getting after the quarterback there. So the Cardinals see a fit. They know they can trade back a little bit, gain a pick, grab him. Boye Mafe is another option there right around the same range. Love the Daxton Hill fit, the safety for Michigan with the Chiefs. I've been talking about that. Just kind of replacement for Tyrann Mathieu. I know Petre is kind of a fit as well. I like Hill because he can blitz at a high level, which the Chiefs like to do with their safeties. I also like him because the Chiefs like to do with their safeties. They like to have them interchangeable, and I think Hill can line up a free safety as well, but mainly kind of a strong, slot type guy. Could also line up at corner, in my opinion. I think he has the traits. Bengals go Kyer Elam, long physical corner. Feels like he can be a press man, press zone, which the Bengals like. So I thought that was a fit. In the Lions get Jahan Dotson, speedy receiver that's pretty good at, he's pretty instinctive, pretty good at understanding coverages and finding the open spots. I'd pair him with Amon St. Brown and Chark on a 1-year deal for the Lions there. But I think teams want that 5th-year option, the receiver, so they don't have to. It's a little longer until they have to trade them until when they want the bank, obviously. On to the second round. Second round, Jags go Nkobe Dean. There's a couple of Georgia linebackers in a row. Nkobe Dean, inside linebacker to pair with Aluokun there for the Jags. I think they're looking for a linebacker like that. Lions go Quay Walker, the other Georgia linebacker. Maybe more upside than Dean. Good athlete, good size, good stop and a run. Jets go Sky Moore, who I think is a first-round player, maybe too good to pass on at this point. Giants see Tyler Linderbaum there. Maybe they're starting center. They've brought in some interior offensive linemen, but they definitely could use some upgrades there. But Linderbaum, who could go first round, slips through because he only fits a handful of teams, in my opinion. Texans get their pass rusher and Boye Mafe here at pick 37. Jets grab their corner now, Kyler Gordon from Washington. Bears get their outside big body receiver and George Pickens to pair with Mooney there to be a good complement each other pretty well, I think, in a good duo. Matt Corral slips through a little bit. Seahawks grab him, maybe worth a shot here with the 40th pick. Next group of picks, Bernard Ryman, offensive tackle from Central Michigan. That would help the Seahawks. They need a tackle pretty bad. Obviously, could still re-sign some guys there at the tackle position. Colts, Sam Howell, I think, worth it here. I like Sam Howell's upside. Learn from Matt Ryan. I think a perfect situation because how long is Matt Ryan going to last for? I guess the downside of that, you probably need more pieces to help Matt Ryan now here. This is your first pick. I just would really like Howell learn behind Matt Ryan. I think the Colts might be about to sign Gilmore too. We'll see if that happens. Falcons go Christian Watson. To me, this is more of his range. I think there's a little hype out there in the social media world. There's a lot to like with, look at the kid. It looks like, lengthy, very athletic, but doesn't really use all that on the field yet. Kind of raw. So I think this is more of his range. So the Falcons add that receiver. And the Browns go Travis Jones, defensive tackle from UConn, help that interior of the defense there, potential first-round pick. This is a great scenario for the Ravens. David Ajabo, who fits that defense, the former Michigan, McDonald, obviously, former Michigan defensive coordinator, with the Baltimore Ravens now, so we know that's a fit. They need some pass rush help, just coming off that injury. Some of these picks I believe I had last time. Logan Hall, the Vikings are looking for a 3-4-M with their scheme change. I think he fits that very well. Lewis Seen, who's getting some first-round buzz as well. It's tough to plug him in some spots, but kind of an interchangeable safety there to pair with Cameron Curl for the Commanders. Cam Jurgens getting a lot of buzz. The interior offense lineman. The Bears looking for more interior offense lineman. Could play center or guard, the feel is. Saints grab their offense lineman, Daniel Falele from Minnesota. Man corner for the Chiefs, Roger McCreary from Auburn. Eagles grab the receiver here, John Mechie. Pair him with Devontae Smith. So the year Mechie had when he was with him. I think Mechie can play multiple spots. I like his upside from the slot. Steelers grab their strong safety in Jaquan Brisker from Penn State. Nick Bonito on the rise. He was kind of considered an undersized pass rusher, put on some weight. I think that, why maybe he'll slip a little bit is because you base things off the tape, and you watch him on tape, and there's times when the blockers are kind of locked onto him, and it's like, yeah, he's kind of undersized, and that's what you see. So will he play like his new weight? But the Packers make a ton of sense for Nick Bonito because they like to use 3 pass rushers at times, and you kind of scheme something open for that third guy where you line them in different spots. And that feel to me, the speed, athleticism of Bonito and just the instincts of getting after the quarterback, the experience getting after the quarterback, kind of makes sense for that third pass rusher for the Packers. I really like that fit. Pitre for the Patriots, I think they'll like his versatility, strong safety, slot guy. So I think they grab him there. I've had this. I haven't really seen anybody else mock it, but I'm really feeling it. James Cook, the Georgia running back, the best receiving back in the class, a mismatch problem that also has a ton of upside at running back. Makes a lot of sense for the Cardinals, in my opinion. Would really like that fit. And yes, the first running back off the board doesn't mean he's necessarily the best, but that's really not how it works come draft time. Cardinals see they have James Connors, that physical inside runner, their RB1. How could we get better here? You go get the versatile mismatch guy in James Cook. I've been having this one as well. Channing Tindall from Georgia, upside, freak athletic linebacker, blitzes from the middle linebacker position, fits more of a man defense than a zone defense. Makes a ton of sense for the Cowboys there at 56. And then the last 8 picks, Breece Hall, running back from Iowa State, my top complete running back, overall running back in the class. The Bills take a shot on the Iowa State running back. Sam Williams for the Falcons to get their speedy pass rusher. David Bell, I'm kind of going back up on David Bell. Watch the tape again, which I did very recently again. And you remember what we saw live, and it was a really good wide receiver. The combine, the testing numbers across the board, not just a 40, you don't love the speed, the explosiveness. You don't love it, but put on the tape, and this is a really good wide receiver, right? This is a really good outside wide receiver, pretty good footwork, looks faster on tape than he did at the combine. Feel like he's smart, too. I feel like he understands how to get open in the technical ways. I think the Packers would like him. Remember, they got Burks for the inside in the first round. They get the outside receiver in Bell. And they added Watkins actually a little bit before recording this. It's a 1-year deal, cheap deal. Need more receivers. You need more receivers. So I would love this for the Packers. Dylan Parham, so the Bucs grab that guard that also can play center if you need him to, from Memphis. 49ers, and nobody really talks about it. I think they need a receiver, though. Not really because Debo is asking for more money and they're not giving it to him yet. Just more so because Debo is not really a true receiver. And then you have Ayuk, who disappears at times. And Jennings was pretty impressive, but to me, you need another receiver. I like a true slot receiver here for the 49ers and Trey Lance and Shakir, who's a very good route runner, very good after the catch. Jalen Tolbert, the Chiefs grab the receiver here. Kind of a little more of a build for him. He plays inside and out. I like that he doesn't have that game-breaking speed, but I like that he's effective everywhere on the field. Underneath, very good at those comebacks, downfield, red zone. So I like that for the Chiefs. He's been getting some buzz. Trey McBride, possibly the best tight end in the class for the Bengals. They did sign Hurst. It's only a 1-year deal. They lost Uzomah, and they were in on Tyler Conklin as well, I heard. So they're looking for that tight end still. McBride here. Bengals don't have a whole lot of needs. Very, very good roster, obviously. And then Christian Harris ends up slipping through, so the Broncos grab him. Blitzing linebacker. You can even put him off the edge as well. I think this is could end up more of his range, but could go earlier in this as well. So, a lot of good players. Even get some good players that maybe go early third round. Obviously, with this scenario, only did 2 trades. I don't think the trades would be too crazy. We already had the crazy Saints Eagles one, but. Yeah, I really felt good about this mock draft. The fits, where everyone was kind of falling on the board, and then the trades made sense as well. So, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. We're always talking with you on Twitter. We have that fan voted mock draft on Twitter. We have member mocks. We kind of released that lobby link where you choose your team on our Twitter as well. So it's a good reason to follow that. And then day 2 and day 3 live updates and thoughts on draft picks day 1 right here on YouTube. So join us, like, subscribe to notifications on me. Much appreciated. It's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.